everyone. Thank you so much for your responses about the last video. They're just making me smile as I think about them. You are all so kind. Now, as promised, this week I'm going to pose a few questions to you about how you know whether all the bits of your life are working. And so we're going to start with finances. And they're always a challenge, I know, to many of us. So just feel you don't have to take notes. Everything I'll be talking about, all the questions are going to be on the screen, and there's also going to be a balance wheel, and you'll be able to just know that you can concentrate and listen and not have to worry about answering the questions as we go. The reason why I'm starting with finances is because I think many people have half got it sorted, many people have got a bit of it sorted, and many of us haven't got it sorted at all. And it can be the one out of all this stuff that causes us so much stress. Debt is one of the highest causes of suicide in the UK amongst young people. And I'm so shocked when I hear that. So this is my attempt to help you as I help my clients. And it started for me when my kids were young, and we never had enough money for everything they wanted. I had 4 kids, and they were always these competing choices. When my youngest was born, the second one was 18 months. The other one was 6 years old and 8, and they always needed new shoes, new clothes, a present for a friend. The list was endless, and my guilt grew longer as I couldn't supply it. But I realised that setting them up as competing choices for them and for me just didn't work, and it created resentment. So we instituted the circle. I can't remember how I got the idea, I really can't. But we used it for other stuff too, like truth telling, but that's another story. Anyway, we would sit around together on the floor in a circle, and every child who could speak would put in their request for that month. They had to plan it ahead. They had to tell the others exactly what they wanted, how important it was to them. And I am endlessly delighted when I look back to those times as to the mature way each of them just presented themselves, and they came together. They agreed that label shoes were not so important as their brothers or sisters' school trip, or that the shoes and the school trip could both be afforded if it didn't happen at exactly the same time of the month, or we paid for the trip over a few weeks. I would always let them know what money was available, but more importantly, they knew the value of the gift that they'd been given by the rest of the family. And so as they grew older, this actually turned into support and sharing in ways that truly astonished me. All my kids are kind, generous and giving, and actually sometimes it just makes me want to cry with gratitude. And don't get me wrong, they're not perfect, and they often reach out and need help in finances, but that's what family's for, and asking is so healthy. But I have a client who I want to tell you about. He spent nearly £200,000 on a new car with all the trimmings. He spent a year planning it. It was a waiting list, and he had all the special fitted out kitty bits. And he was so excited to go and get it, and he wanted to show it off to his brother and his family. But buying it quickly turned to dust because he realised he was too scared to drive it. He thought he might scratch it. He was too scared to, get it dirty. And he realised that it was a way that he had just begun to see it as competition between him and his children, his father, his brothers. He wanted to be best. He wanted to have the best car, the best kitting out. He was really, really out of control. And so actually, although he had lots of money, he was spending it on stuff he didn't want. And that was really sad. I've got another client who definitely budgets every penny his wife spends. They have a comfortable salary, but he's obsessed with his pension and how much he doesn't have. Another client spends every penny she earns up to the limit on the month at the end of the month, and buys clothes she doesn't wear, books she doesn't read, and gadgets that she doesn't use. These are some of the questions that I asked them, and I'm asking you now. So what's your earliest memory about money? How old were you? Who else is in that memory? What emotions rise in you as you reflect on your memories? And who has influenced you most in money matters? Is it your parents, family, friends, celebrities? There's so many people who affect us. And who actually has the biggest influence on your relationship with money today? The one that I often ask my kids is, how old are you in your behaviour, in your attitude towards money today? And we have a saying in our family, act your age and not your shoe size. You may say that you don't care about money at all and are quite happy with nothing. I used to be like that. Honestly, I discovered it wasn't true for me. There was some fear underneath it. I was so afraid of money, I couldn't deal with it. So, is there one thing that you can do today? Can you cut up your credit card if you need to? I know it sounds scary. Get a debit card. What would you like to change? Would you like to get out of debt? Would you like to stop buying stuff? Would you like to have money left over at the end of the month? Would you like to be able to save for a car, a house, or your education? What are you actually able to change right now? Could you live on the cash? Could you budget for a week?